As women in Iran face oppression, there's another group also being led by women that is facing severe persecution, but most don't even know about them. But somehow their movement is exploding. Here's One America's Natasha Sweatte.
Protests continue to grow all around the world after hearing how 22-year-old Mahsa Amini died.
Mahsa is the voice of anger of the Iranian people right now. Mahsa has sparked this anger. Why? Because when Mahsa died, the Islamic Republic tried to bury her secretly at night without anyone knowing.
Even with the attempt to shut down the internet, there was no hiding what happened to Amini. As these women are fighting back against Sharia law, others are also fighting religious persecution. They're putting their lives on the line to share their faith. With 800 churches in Iran and another 500 in Afghanistan, this movement is bringing people together globally.
There's a vast awakening happening in Iran, and while violent protests continue over a woman who violated a Sharia law dress code, there's been a silent one happening, gaining incredible ground. Through global catalytic ministries, underground Christian churches are silently growing throughout the Middle East. And while making disciples, this movement is equipping believers to thrive in the midst of persecution. For more, we turn to Brother X, whose identity we are concealing for security purposes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So now it sounds as though this ministry is doing the impossible in a place where people can be killed for turning against the Muslim faith. It appears these underground churches are rapidly growing. So how is this even happening?
Well, you know, Natasha, Jesus is coming in dreams, visions, and power encounters, and people are seeing the man in white, so it makes our job so much easier.
And it's interesting, this movement is also to some degree being led by women. So with all the restrictions imposed on women in the Middle East, this also sounds as something very hard to achieve. So does it surprise you?
Actually, my wife is the one who started the ministry. I got married into it. So yes, 20 years ago, my wife had one of the biggest networks inside of Iran. God is using women because really women all over the world is a spiritual gateway and gatekeeper of the family.
But this movement does not directly work against the Ayatollah?
In America, sometimes we get so caught up in politics, Democrats, Republicans, who's in the office, who's not. That doesn't matter because we're supposed to love our enemies. We're supposed to disciple people to Christ. So yeah, we don't affect the Ayatollah because every believer is praying for him every day. Like we should be praying for Biden right now.
And being part of this movement, what have you learned firsthand about your faith? I mean, you must be willing to risk it all.
Well, we can get executed for what we do. So yes, we are risking it all.
And while this is a very tragic time with many restrictions and hate, it sounds as though there is a silver lining here with so many people coming to faith.
It is, Natasha, because it's the perfect storm. There's social unrest, political unrest, religious unrest, economic unrest. So it's the perfect storm that's happening inside of Iran. That's why the gospel is flourishing right now.
Brother X, thank you so much for coming on One America News to share this good news.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the opportunity. You guys are doing a great job.